What's up, everybody? My name is Enzo, and today I'll be showing you guys how to make an R&B type beat for JSSR and LAWSY. Alright, so first I started off with these chords, and it's just an E piano from Xenology. It's crystal EPs, and here's how it sounds. Alright, so the way I go about making these melodies is first starting off with some bass notes. So here I got a 6-5-3 progression and 4-5-6-5 progression over here, and it's just the same thing on this side. And after I do that, I start making chords. So I went with 1 to the 5, or not 1, but you know what I mean. So basic triad here, added a 7th and a 9th chord, 7th and 9th, and I added this top note over here as well, and just use your ears to find what sounds good. And over here as well, I started off with some chords, but here I did something different, and I added a note off key. And you don't need to stay like loyal to the scale all the time. You can experiment, make irregular chords like this, put some notes off key, and that's how you make your own sound, to like add flavor to your beat, make it unique. So it still sounds good, even though it's not a proper note, a proper chord, and there's a note off key here. And you don't need to follow the rules like 100%. Like even here, like the notes are all, the chords are all weird, but that's how you make your chords different and how to make it unique. So and over here on this side, all I did was just copy and paste the same exact notes from here, but I just added a couple more notes on top to make it sound like I changed something, but like I really didn't, but it's like the same thing. And another thing I want to show you is the bass notes. The bass notes is just copying these things like just down here. It's like the same exact notes, but I added some filler notes, some transition notes like this, some grace notes, some more transition stuff like a roll here, and all of that is just to complement how the chords sound. And bass notes like really make your chords sound fuller and like just make it sound better, honestly. And the last thing I want to say about the chords is tweak the velocity. Like, don't keep it all at one pitch or one volume, because it'll sound like robotic. And I made mine sound beautiful and like human played by tweaking the velocity and not sticking to the grid like 100%, like this and this. Like these are not on grid, but it still sounds good and still sounds it sounds more human. So yeah. So the key takeaway from my chords is just add 7th and 9th. Don't just make triads. Add some notes out of the scale. Experiment with your chords like this. Like they don't gotta be basic chords like skipping like one note each time. Like you can experiment. You can go crazy with how your chords is. And here, the next thing I added was a top line to my chord progression. So here's my top line right here. And yeah, here's my top line. And what I do is I just listen to my chord progression and I hum out a melody, like whether it's a lead, a counter melody, a top line, like whatever. You just hum out a melody in your head while you're listening to your chords, and it should sound good. And you can translate what you're thinking in your head onto the piano roll. So here's what it sounds like. And yeah, that's all there is for the chords and the like E piano and stuff. And the next thing I added was this organ, and I just straight up copied it, the entire top line, the entire chords, all of the bass notes, all of this stuff from my E piano. All I did is the same exact thing, and it's just a soulful organ from Expand 2. It's this preset, clean and warm, and it sounds really good. But any soulful organ or any soulful, like any sound will sound good layered with your piano. Alright, so that's it for the chords and stuff. And now let me move on to the melodies. So here, this is just to fill in the high notes, the high frequencies of my beat. It's just a very simple string like pattern. And it's just this preset from Expand 2 again, glassy violin from the strings area. And this is like my favorite, it's like my go-to string for these type of beats. Like I always use this pattern like a lot of my beats, and it just sounds good, and it fills in the high frequencies, and yeah, it just complements my chords and stuff. Alright, the next part I added was my leads, and this is like the part that everybody is confused about and everybody's asking me about. Is my leads and how I make my leads. So what I like to do is like put like this little intro, which is my lead, into the full beat like this. It just sounds really good and it's a nice intro. So yeah, that's the first thing I do with my leads. The second is like actually making it, and it's the same technique I do for my top line, and I just hum out my melody. While I'm listening to my chords, and like ideas just flow into my brain of how to make these melodies. So it's like the same rules that apply to my chords. Don't make it regular. Add some filler notes, some transition notes, notes off the scale, and like grace notes like this and like this. They just make the lead sound that much better. So here's how it sounds. So that's it for my first lead, and I added like 2 more leads for my verse area, which is this. And it's the same way I go about doing every other of my leads, every other of my melodies. Just hum out pattern in your head and put it onto the keys, piano roll. And this one was more of a simple melody, yo, what's this? Alright, whatever. I don't know where this is coming from, bro. Alright, whatever, that was weird. Basically, I just still put some notes off key, add some grace notes, add some filler notes, like, just go crazy with your leads. And it'll add a bunch of flavor to your beats, and here's how it sounds. And this is lead from Purity. It's called the Tiny Lead, and Purity is really good for R&B and plug and beat type stuff. And my other lead is over here in my second verse. And this one is more of a simple one. Like, I didn't go too crazy because I've been going crazy with my leads on this beat, so I just took a step back on this one. It's literally just 2 notes. And here is the preset for it. It's this bandsaw and the soft leads from Expand. And here's how it sounds. It's just a simple little melody that I made there. And next, and the final part of my melody is the bass. And this is literally just default preset from like default boo bass. It's literally just the default preset. I didn't need to change anything. It already sounded good. And all I did was copied and pasted the bass notes from my chord progression, this stuff, into my bass section. And this how it sounds like. Alright, that's it for the melody, and what I did for the drums is just basic like R&B drums, like a clap, kick, hi-hats, a shaker, and a crash. I didn't put a snare in this one because like I didn't feel like it needed a snare, and I'm already using a clap. And here's how it sounds. Yeah, it's just like some simple patterns. Like, I'll just go in depth. It's just a clap, basic clap pattern, basic kick, some hi-hats, and I layered these 2 hi-hats over here. It just sounded good. A shaker, like shakers are a must need for R&B. A crash is always good, and a little hand drum at the end. Never hurts anybody. And that's basically it. That's the full beat. And the last thing I added was these sound effects. Wait. And yeah, that's basically how I made this beat. 90s R&B type beat for JSSR and LAWSY. And yeah.